So welcome. In this video set, we're going to go ahead and teach you how to do one additional set of details in this robot. And in this case right here, we're going to go do those gritty little textures or sections in R2D2 side right here. So let's go ahead and just, instead of doing the blue stuff, we're just going to keep to those grids. So how are we going to go ahead and start with that? Let's go first and start a new group for this. So we can keep it in a separate place. We call this grids. And then within here, I'm going to go ahead and create a brand new layer. And what's going to be the first layer that we're going to create? We're going to go ahead and create the outer shadow for these two little grids. So we're going to go ahead and take this shape, for example, and then I am going to go and make a selection. Good. Go in and fill it with white. And then duplicate it because we're going to use it 2 times over to make a double grid. And then fill it up with white again. And after that, you take and you make it into multiply and you deselect. And then after you've done that, it's going to be your outer shadow. And then now that you have that set, you go to effects, again, outer glow. You have the makings of those panels, good amount of darkness on the shadows, but maybe could be a little bit more. Take the spread, raise that. Nah, that makes it too much. Don't raise the spread. Take the size and raise it, and then take the opacity or the on it, and then lower that a tiny bit and such. And there you go. Now you have the makings of the shadow when it comes to that. So now we're going to go ahead and do the inner shadow. And how are we going to do that? We are going to take this layer now. I'm going to do those grid indentations. When it comes to the inside, we're going to take this layer, duplicate it. Good. And no, I don't want to do that. No, let's try something else. So we're going to go ahead now and we're going to go to create a brand new layer. And then again, we're going to be doing all this with multiply to get some of these consistent shadows throughout. And then you're going to take a brush, take the hardness, and then reduce the size of it to less than that and less than that. Let's say 8. We have it, and you're going to go in this layer, and then you're going to go, if you want to give yourself something to go by, for example, so you have accurate results. If you go to view, you turn on this one, rulers, it's going to give you these right here, these little guides, and from there you can actually pull from the side and pull guides to give you places for your drawing to have some guidelines for. So I'm going to put one for there, and I'm going to put one for there, and that's going to outline the extent that these little grids are going to go in. So I'm going to go with the paint, white, 100% from the start of it. Hold shift to the end. 1, and 2, and 3. Pretty good. And then I'm going to take my move tool and just center them so I don't have to center them that much. And then I'm going to hold shift. No, that's not it. Alt while you drag to make a copy of it. Makes a duplicate layer. So it's 2, as you can see. Take these 2 and merge it together. So again, that was hold Alt while holding and dragging to make a copy of the layer like that and move it, and then you merge it together. So once it's done like that and it's one layer, turn it from a normal layer to a multiply. I'm going to go into the effects, and you're going to go with inner glow again. But again, as you can see, it has too much color in it, so we're going to go ahead and take that to a white, make it more of a gray. And then now we're going to go ahead and take the inner glow and pull out the choke on it, or the size, so you can see it more inner like this. Good. Now we have that first part of that. Let's go ahead and zoom out and see what else we need. Now we're going to need some of that inner detail. So we're going to do an inner shadow to do that same effect. So we're going to make a selection of this, brand new layer, multiply, fill it with white. However, this time we're going to do an inner shadow. We're going to make it multiply, make it black, we're going to go ahead and take that and push it towards a direction that gives it some sense of direction, and then the distance, that's where you... Actually, let's go ahead and do the other side. And this, that corner, and then take the distance, increase it ever so slightly, and then take the opacity and bring it down. And now you have given it a second degree of lighting as well. Gives it some sort of sense of direction. So then after you've done that, create a brand new layer, select, deselect, and you want to go ahead and give it a more inward shape to imply that the surface is sort of curving and not so sharp like my selection is, for example. So I'm going to scroll down to the layer that has my little square selected, and then this one, I'm going to, again, drop the white, as you guessed it, multiply, and then you are going to go and do an no, actually, let's go ahead and go do an inner shadow again. Face it downwards. And take the opacity, raise that. Take the distance, slightly lower that. Now. Opacity a little bit less opacity, then we take a duplicate of this again. As you can see, you can do a lot with it. Duplicate layer, cool. Take your duplicate layer, go to the inner shadow, reverse the values, 90%, turn it to white, and then turn it into screen, and bump that to 100% so you can see it and such. Let's see, choke, let's see which one increases that. Yep, there you go, increase the choke quite a bit, and then take the distance, size. No, it's gonna have to reduce that tiny bit. Deselect. Hit OK, and then hit deselect. And then, as you can see, you have a bit of a raised panel. What else could we do this to make it a little bit more interested? We could add another extra layer of complexity to it to make it look like it's quite a depth, pretty deep piece of instrument. So go again, brand new layer. We're going to go ahead and select all of these. This, and then we're going to do select, modify, and smooth. Let's make it by 5 so it's not too much. Looks nice. Fill in with white. Hold Alt. Oh, didn't work. Control C. Hold Alt. Make a copy of it over the second one. You see this? That's because snapping is on, so I don't want that. So let's go to view and then let's turn snap off so I can just move it however I like so it's a little bit more centered. Select, deselect, and we're gonna do same layer. Is that the same layer? Yes it is again, and we're gonna go to multiply, inner glow, so this one's going to apply to the whole of it, and as you can see now from the size, it has that more indented look, and we want it not to be so jaggedy, so we go to filter, blur, blur more. Too much. Not actually filter, blur more, and a little trick. If you go to here, edit, and you do fade blur more, then you can actually control how much the blur more does. So on this occasion, I'm gonna go ahead and take it to about right there. Select, deselect. Select these two all over again now, and then we're gonna do the final touch, add a highlight to the bottom of this to make it look like there's some rays on the bottom of the surface here. So do that. Select inverse, white, 100%. Take it down to 2. And then go right here, hold shift, click, 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 shift, click, click. Paint around the corners to make it a little bit more believable. And then paint around the corners. And then finally take that smudge, reduce the size of it a little bit, and then smudge this upwards to make it look more gradual, the gradient. And then if you want to add one more layer of believability to it as well, you take this and make it to completely one. And then you go to right here on the lower edges of these little grates and then give it one of these, one of those, one of those. Corners here. Oh, undo. View and I'm clear guide so you can see it. As you can see now, maybe we can use a tiny bit more sharpening in those shadows. So what do? This shadow right here, duplicate the layer, multiplies the effect. However, take the effect itself and take the size and scale it. And as you can see now, not precise, but it's kind of giving that indent on the shadows, kind of giving that indent on this little panel to kind of imply that there's different depths to it. And that's going to be for this one. So when you conclude with this one, the assignment is going to be you're going to create your own sci-fi looking panel with several different buttons and details that both raise and indent, and then show it to each other when we're finished, or as far as you've gotten. Thank you very much.